The Boggart and the Farmer. There was once a farmer who had a good enough farm, but he thought he would like to add a field or two. So he bought a piece of land and was pleased with his bargain, for the soil was good and the land was level. The next day he went to look at the field and to plan what crop he would sow there first. Suddenly, a Boggart appeared from nowhere. A thick-set, hairy thing he was, with arms as long again as the farmer's. "Clear off," he said to the farmer. "This is my land." "Well, that it ain't," said the farmer. "We've just bought it." "It's mine!" yelled the Boggart, clenching his fists and looking as though he would throttle the farmer. Now, the farmer was afraid to argue with such a strong, ugly creature, but he didn't see why he should give up the land he had paid for fairly. So he said, trying to look pleasant, "Maybe we should strike a bargain." "I'll tell you what," said the Boggart, grinning. "We'll share the crops. You'll have to do the work, of course." "Agreed," said the farmer. "When I've grown the crops, which will you have? Tops or bottoms? What grows above the ground or under the ground?" Tops," said the Boggart, thinking he was getting the better of the farmer. The cunning farmer set potatoes on his land. When the Boggart came to collect his share at harvest time, only the shriveled tops were left, but the farmer had a ton or two of fine potatoes for his share. Well, there was nothing the Boggart could do about it, for the farmer had given him what he had promised. However, when the Boggart was asked what he would have the second year, he said he would have bottoms. "Ha ha!" he thought. "He'll not trick me a second time. I'm clever, I am." He was not as clever as he thought, for the farmer had planted barley. The Boggart came along several times to see how the crop looked, but he suspected nothing, for he did not know barley from any other crop. When the barley was ready, the farmer cut it and stored it away many bushels in his barns. When the Boggart came to collect his share, the field was bare, and there were only roots and stubble of the barley left. He had been outwitted again. How angry he was. But a bargain's a bargain. He had asked for bottoms, and the farmer had given him bottoms. Then the Boggart had what he thought was a clever idea. "This year you'll sow wheat," he said, for he knew what wheat was. "We'll share what comes up, and then we'll each mow and keep what we mow." The Boggart knew that his arms were twice as strong as the farmer's, and he reckoned he could mow a great deal faster than the farmer could. Well, there was nothing for it. The farmer had to sow wheat, but he was very worried about how much of it would be his. He went to look at the field every week, and he saw that it was going to produce a fine crop. It vexed him to think that the ugly Boggart was going to get most of it. The wise man of the village heard about it and suggested a plan. The farmer rubbed his hands with glee and went straight to the village smith and asked him to make some iron rods. These he took to the field and scattered them amongst the wheat on the side the Boggart was to mow. On the day of the harvest, the sun shone and the wheat was at its best. The Boggart arrived grinning, his scythe over his shoulder. "I'll start at one end and you start at the other," he said. They began to mow. The farmer moved steadily forward, swinging his scythe, but the Boggart kept striking iron rods and blunting his scythe. He thought the rods were tough weeds. Docks, maybe. "These are mortal tough docks," he grumbled, stopping to sharpen his scythe. Crash! He struck another iron rod. Plague, take it. Another one, he growled angrily, stopping again. By midday, the farmer had mowed half the field, but the boggart had only cut one corner. The sun blazed down and the boggart got crosser and crosser. At last he yelled, "Ain't you got any docks your side?" "Ne'er a one," answered the farmer, mowing steadily. At last, when he had to stop for the 20th time, the boggart gave up. He flung down his blunt scythe and screamed, "Keep your land! I won't have nothing more to do with it!" He gave a tremendous stamp on the ground. A hole opened in the earth, and the boggart popped down it. The last the farmer saw of him was his shock of black hair, disappearing with an angry flourish. The boggart never came back to claim the land, but even today he sometimes pops up suddenly to frighten people. Nasty creature that he is. People say too that when their tools are lost, it's the boggart who has taken them. The end.